Social media is no doubt going into overdrive today for that no-confidence vote in President Jacob Zuma. For more on this, we're joined via Skype by ROI Africa Managing Director Tonya Khoury. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. Let's look at the hashtags involved here. It's, of course, a Zuma vote and no confidence. What are you picking up? What's the sentiment?
There is huge activity on social media and in news media, to be fair. Social media today, over the past 24 hours, our top 10 stories in the country, 54% of that focuses on the secret ballot and the vote of no confidence, and a further 22% vote actually is acknowledged to Zuma must fall in those related hashtags. And then there's a further 9% that focuses on Julius Malema, a further 5% on the Guptas, and then some others to Pravin Gordhan, and also to Manana, because he's in Parliament and shouldn't he be arrested. So if you put those stats together, you've got a good 92% of South Africa's social media landscape is focusing on the events happening today.
Now, look at the pro-Jacob Zuma supporters we're seeing in Cape Town. Of course, let's not forget that the president does have thousands on the streets of Cape Town also supporting him. What are those numbers looking like in comparison to those who are saying he should be recalled?
Sadly, for President Zuma, they don't even make the top 10. You know, we put together the biggest stories across the country in the form of sort of a hit parade, the top 10, if you like. And pro-Zuma sentiment, pro-Zuma tweets, pro-Zuma articles just simply don't make it. I mean, you look at news media today alone, 7.7% of news media focused on the marches and a negative sentiment to President Zuma.
Now, the opposition party members, of course, many of them had their say in the National Assembly today. Strong words, some would argue, from most of them. But Julius Malema, I see, is still on the top with Mmusi Maimane, if my trends are anything to go by, coming in at second.
You're absolutely right. I tell you what, Julius Malema certainly can move Twitter, and he has done today. He features as almost 1 in 10 of the top stories of the week, so that's a huge amount. Mmusi Maimane did well, certainly did well. There's a few others that certainly voiced their opinion at the marches, and that showed through on social media. There were so many, certainly during the parliamentary session, but the big one is certainly Julius Malema with 9% of our social media conversation. Huge.
Let's not forget President Jacob Zuma's defenders in the National Assembly, Nosiviwe Mapisa Ngakula, as well as Nati Mtetwa, also featuring on the trend list.
And not positively, I'm afraid. The reaction to them was certainly quite negative. Another thing that made big social media conversation was the quorum, and the fact that there's 5 votes that where there simply aren't the MPs to fill those positions, and whether those will be counted. So that also made some noise on social media. But I think, you know, South Africans always turn to humor, and I've seen so many tweets that are calling for time, like, can we get on with it already? Enough talking, let's get to action.
Yeah, it's a long process, of course, because there are almost 400 MPs who are going to be voting. Those visuals, of course, on screen of that process currently underway. Thanks so much for your time. We do appreciate it. That was ROI Africa Managing Director Tonya Khoury.